Welcome to the John 3:30 podcast. He must increase, I must decrease is a message John 3:30 invites us to live. Incorporating this into our everyday lives can be a challenge. What keeps your fire burning? We have many wonderful ways to stay close to our faith, whether it be the Mass, spiritual readings, prayer, adoration, or the Rosary. This is Catholic Faith Life, and here's our host, Jason Nunez.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the John 3:30 podcast. This is your host, Jason Nunez, and welcome to episode number 72. Today, I have two very, very special guests with me, and we're going to learn a lot about them, and I'm very thankful that they're here today. We have Tiffani, and we have Josh. Say hello.
Hello, out there in podcast world.
I'm glad I got your name right, Josh. Like I said before I hit record, I've been wanting to call you Tim this whole time, but Josh.
Right, because I'm wearing my TMIY shirt.
That's probably why I'm the subliminal message. The Tim is kind of sinking in.
I've been called worse.
Alrighty. Well, I'm happy I don't fall on that end of the spectrum there. We're going to go ahead and begin this episode the way we begin all of our episodes. That is in prayer. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
O Jesus, meek and humble of heart, hear me. From the desire of being esteemed, deliver me, O Jesus. From the desire of being loved, deliver me, O Jesus. From the desire of being extolled, deliver me, O Jesus. From the desire of being honored, deliver me, O Jesus. From the desire of being praised, deliver me, Jesus. From the desire of being preferred to others, deliver me, Jesus. From the desire of being consulted, deliver me, Jesus. From the desire of being approved, deliver me, Jesus. From the fear of being humiliated, deliver me, Jesus. From the fear of being despised, deliver me, Jesus. From the fear of suffering rebukes, deliver me, Jesus. From the fear of being calumniated, deliver me, Jesus. From the fear of being forgotten, deliver me, Jesus. From the fear of being ridiculed, deliver me, Jesus. From the fear of being wronged, deliver me, Jesus. From the fear of being suspected, deliver me, Jesus. That others may be loved more than I, Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That others may be esteemed, and I more than I, Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That in the opinion of the world, others may increase, and I may decrease. Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That others may be chosen, and I set aside. Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That others may be praised and go unnoticed. Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That others may be preferred to me in everything. Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That others may become holier, provided that I may become as holy as I should. Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Alrighty. Josh and Tiffani, if you can do me a favor and share with everyone listening a little bit about yourself, please.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and go first.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Josh Rockhold. We are regular attenders of Mass at Holy Trinity. Mm-hmm. I've been there about 7 years. I went through the RCIA program 6 years ago. I'm involved in several ministries there, including that Man Is You. Mm-hmm. Just served on an Acts team, and just really been blessed by the people that we've met there. When I went through my RCIA experience, it was really pretty much a revelation for me in a lot of ways, because not too long after that, I had the opportunity to meet Tiffani. Really, the week after I became Catholic. And,
wow.
Yeah, it was magical, but I think that God had a plan for me, and she was in that plan.
Beautiful.
Lucky me. I mean that too.
Beautiful, beautiful. Tiffani, how about yourself?
Well, as Josh said, we started dating right after he became Catholic, and so it was right after Easter and of 2013.
2013.
And then we started dating, and then we got engaged on Christmas Day, 2013. Yeah, same year. And then I lost my job, and then I was kind of, getting sick and had some issues with my right leg. And so it was kind of good timing, and I had been engaged 3 times before. So I was like, okay, this one needs to stick. And so I just could tell by the example that he had for his kids and how positive he was and how faithful he was to God, that he was somebody that I wanted to learn from. And so when we got married in November of 2014, right before that, I moved in with he and his 2 sons from his previous marriage. And I was attending church, but we were kind of attending it off and on, not kind of sporadically. And then last year, 2018, I decided that I wanted to become Catholic. And so, again, I'd had a lot of medical troubles, and I knew that I was missing something. I knew I was missing my faith. And I'd grown up Methodist, again, sporadic, tried the non-denominational. That really didn't take, and I wanted something that meant a lot to me. And we had been involved with the church to some degree, and I knew the people were wonderful. So, again, Holy Trinity Catholic Church. And so just became confirmed on Easter of this year, so just a month ago or so.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything's good.
That's awesome. Just kind of an observation before we get into the meat of our conversation here. Every time I see you, Tiffani, I see Tim. There's not a time.
Josh.
It was gonna happen.
It was gonna happen.
It happened right there.
And 6 minutes in, it happened.
That's okay.
So that's
cute.
fine.
It's cute.
It's fine.
You can call me Tim if it's easier.
Yeah, there you go.
That's fine. He doesn't care.
From now on, you're going to be Tim.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Just change his name.
There you go. I'll just make sure that when I label the episode, it says Josh.
Josh, okay.
Not Tim. I mean, I'm up at Tim in parentheses.
Yeah, you can
see
do that.
If the space allows.
Yeah.
But whenever I see you, Tiffani, I see Josh. And that's great. That's wonderful. It's honestly reminds me of my marriage. My wife has been a big support person of me and what I've gone through. And I can tell that you've gone through a lot. And to have Josh there with you is priceless. And I just wanted to say that, thank you for being a good example.
Well, I think that when we first met, with the San Antonio Amputee Foundation,
right,
we saw that, the two of you, each of you, had just recently gone through your surgery.
Right.
I mean, I think that we were immediately drawn, and we just, those little conversations that we had, and we found out that you
right,
were, had been a cradle Catholic, and, I'd gone through RCIA, and she was in the process of going through that. And we had just come off of a magical retreat that helped kind of, raise her and me, both, raised us, tremendously. That I think we felt a connection there. And then we have with several others there that have also talked about their faith, and it's been a great group.
Yes.
But yeah, we definitely, we miss that your wife's not here right now, but, we see that same sort of relationship that you guys have too.
Definitely. So kind of taking a step back and looking at the big picture here, you're married. You've just gone through RCIA. On top of it, you've just gone through this medical journey, because it really is not going to end. With what's happened to you and I is not the end of it. And aside from that, there's children, you have bills, there's still everyday responsibilities that come up, and we got to deal with insurance now and doctor's appointments and all this other stuff. And so with the hustle and bustle of life, the weight of life, what for you, Tiffani, what really sparked your flame into the Catholic faith, and through what you've been faced with, continuing the process? What has sustained you in continuing to go through RCIA, become fully initiated in the church, through what you've been dealing with medically, and what has stopped you from saying, you know what, God, why are you picking on me? You know what? I'm trying to do this. I'm just not going to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. What prevented you from doing that?
Yeah. Well, I can say, Jason, you and I, have both, amputations. So when I found out that I was going to have an amputation, it was October 22nd of last year, and I had already embraced it. I wanted to get it done with, move on, have my new normal, and just move forward. But before that, I'd already decided in May of last year to start the RCIA process, which just started last July. And so I knew it was like a 10-month process, Easter, and then we would have through mid-June. So really a year, So if you look at it, because we're still, Wednesday nights, we still have the RCIA class to learn more about the meaning of Mass and that type of thing. And what drew me to the church was Josh as an example. And like I said before, I had tried other churches and it just didn't work. I didn't feel at home. I didn't feel like I could be myself. I felt I was still kind of judgmental and questioned intentions and things like that. And that's, if God's really speaking to you, that's not really how you should feel. So we started going to Holy Trinity more, and Josh was getting more involved, and I could see how he was being uplifted. And then I just decided, one day, I really don't know how it happened. I guess it was kind of an epiphany, but I'm not a big prayer. I don't pray a lot, or at least I didn't. I do now. But I was a quick story. I was at the doctor's office, as this is, I guess RCIA had started, right? But I was still kind of I wasn't going to quit, but
I'm going to check it out, see what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And so
that's referred to as the inquiry stage.
Yes. And I was like, wow, this is a lot. And do I really want to hold out until next year at Easter? And so I was at the dentist, and I had an abscess tooth, an infected tooth. And so I was sitting there, and he was trying to clean it out, and it hurt so bad. And he kept giving me Novocaine, giving me stuff, and it wasn't taking. And so I finally said, okay, can you give me more Novocaine and then try again? And he's like, this is the last try. He tried 5 times. He said, I can't give you any more Novocaine after this legally. He said, so we'll try one more time, but then if it doesn't work, you're going to have to come back in. And I was like, I can't just be in pain for a week or what have you. So I said, okay. And he said, I'll be back in 10 minutes. So he gave me more Novocaine, and I sat there and I said, what do I do? I just, it was hurt so bad. And I prayed to Mary as my intercessor to Jesus. And because we had just talked about that week in our RCIA class. And I prayed to her, and I said, please take the pain away. Please let me get through this. At least, just let me get through this. If there's still pain, just let him do his job, the dentist. And so he came back, and he started trying to clean the tooth out again, and I felt zero pain. Zero. I mean, it was crazy. And I was smiling while he's cleaning my tooth out. And he's like, what, why are you smiling? And I'm like, it doesn't hurt, keep going, And then after it was all over with, he said, well, what happened? And I said, I prayed. And he said, well, I went back and I prayed too. Aww. So, sorry, I'm crying.
There you go.
I told you I was emotional.
I'm not the only one that's crying on you now. Good.
So that's what kept me going. And just the people that you meet in the class, they're so loving, and just their hearts are in the right place, and how it sustained me is just I want to serve people, take it off myself. I don't want to, I pray for no judgments, patience, humility, and that I put others first. And I think that if you do that, and in your heart, in your mind, and in your actions, if you serve other people, then it just makes everything fantastic. You can't complain about your lot in life because there's always other people who need help, and we're so lucky that we've got families and spouses and children who care and support us in the Amputee Foundation. But the church is what is my foundation. That's what got me through and continues to get me through. And in terms of ministries, I went on the Acts retreat, the women's Acts retreat. Our church was in March, and Jason, your words of encouragement, I thought that was so wonderful. Jason messaged me on Facebook and based on my Facebook post, you knew I was becoming Catholic, and so that
kind
was
of connected the
wonderful.
dots on the
like my post here
she's
and
going
there.
on an Acts retreat soon.
Acts is Catholic, right? And so I just loved it, and we're going to be on the RCIA team. The deacon who teaches our class asked he and I, as a married couple, to be on the team. So we'll start meeting again, I guess, like in July-ish time frame.
Yep.
So that'll be another year-long commitment for us, but we love it. We just
great.
Love it.
My wife and I help out with RCIA. We've been helping out for the past, I'd say, 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Any kind of resource we can offer to you all.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
By all means, let us know. We'll be happy to help you guys with that.
Thank you.
Josh. I was about to say Tim, but it didn't. I caught myself.
Just let this go.
You'll be able to kind of understand what I'm saying here is that you've gone through an Acts retreat as a retreatant, and then now as a team member.
As a team member now.
So the experience is the same retreat, same weekend, but a different experience, right?
Absolutely.
The exact same thing for RCIA. Right. When you go through it as a catechumen or as a candidate, that's one when you're on
or
the
as
team.
A sponsor.
Or exactly, as a sponsor. When you go through it as a team member, starting in July and kind of planning out the year and working on your presentations and meeting people, and you see them come in and they're like, I'm going to sit by the door because I don't know what's going on here, and then you see them in each individual receiving the sacraments is, oh man. So I'm excited for you for that now. So that's great.
Yeah, we're really excited. I mean, I know when she made the decision to go through RCIA, because I didn't pressure at all. I said, on whatever timeline, whatever, it's completely fine. And when she made that decision, she wanted to do it. I mean, I felt special. I felt like she really was ready at that point. And I said, of course, I'm going to sponsor you. I'm your husband. Of course, I'm sponsoring you. And there were some people that didn't have sponsors that we tried to get a couple people. So I felt like in some ways we kind of were getting ourselves ready to become part of the team. Because we're already kind of looking out for some of that. And, with your baking cookies, organizing different things.
Well, I'm not working outside the home right now. So it's like I like to bake. And so we would bring baked goods to the RCIA team meetings and things like that. So that's what you do when you don't work outside the home. You've got extra time.
Everyone's got a talent to share.
Everyone's got a talent.
But I do want to go back to work. I just don't know what I want to do yet. So
hospitality is a ministry within the RCIA process that is much appreciated by everyone. Yeah. If you can work a coffee maker, you're the MVP. Because everyone is walking in looking for that coffee pot.
That's true.
So,
that was my first duty when I joined the That Man Is You team.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you're making coffee.
Yep. Yep, definitely. That's exciting to see. Just kind of speaking about our amputations, because I kind of feel like that's what it is.
Yeah.
As Tim mentioned earlier, we had our surgeries days apart. Mine was October 19th, yours was the 22nd. So we've been on the same path, literally from almost the same day. And I kind of, I don't know if you do this, but I'm a visual person. So I've been trying to, from afar, use you as a measuring stick for me on my progress, because we almost were the same day. Like, okay, well, if she's up and walking, then I should be up and walking too by now. So even though everyone's different, and that's totally not the thing to do as a guy and as a stubborn guy,
she's plenty stubborn too. Don't worry.
That's kind of what I've been doing from afar, is just going, okay, well, she posted that she went to the store and kind of walked around and did this, and I did that too. So okay, I'm on track. I've
been doing that with you as well.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
So it's strange, but I have too. And Kay, who's a caregiver as part of the group, who was sitting next to us, we just had our meeting this morning, right?
Yep.
Our monthly meeting. She said, before you got there, she's like, you should see Jason, because I hadn't been to a few meetings because of the conversion, RCIA stuff. Right. And so she said, you should see Jason. He's moving around so well. He's doing so well, and we are just so happy for him. And so I just wanted to share that with you, that people are seeing that about you.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of my family is back home in El Paso, so I understand how it can be hard for them to kind of wonder how I'm doing, you know?
Yeah.
So I try to put stuff on social media that way they can at least see that I'm up and around and I'm moving. Kay actually is a parishioner of Holy Spirit too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I've met her, and my wife and I have got to know her, and Mona actually is like, you need to meet Kay, and so it's been the San Antonio Amputee Foundation. They're another community, kind of like within our faith, where community is a big aspect of it. The San Antonio Amputee community has now become a part of our lives that have helped us along the way.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great community.
Yeah. I can't help but go to the meeting on Saturday, the first Saturday of every month, and not leave inspired by everyone that's there or what they're doing. And I leave and I want to go play tennis, and I want to go on a bike now. And
I played tennis in high school. Okay, this was in Nebraska, right? And my state champion in Nebraska, but it was doubles. So now that I can walk around a little bit better, I'm going to go. Start going maybe this Thursday even.
We may have a ringer.
So you need to.
I know, right?
Maybe too.
She wants to beat Mike.
Yeah, Mike Marsh. For all you know who Mike Marsh is.
Mike. Somebody's got you, right?
He's a tennis player. So.
Yeah. He's like a 5-year-old in like a adult man's
sophomoric
body.
Is what we call.
There you go.
In a cute, nice way. Yeah.
Got so much energy that guy does.
It certainly does.
He has a lot of energy, and
Well, I think we take inspiration by
we do. You can't help but be inspired by seeing that guy literally bounce around the room. It's like, dude, you're missing a leg. How are you doing this?
How are you doing that? How are you walking so well? Well, and like today, had the meeting this morning for the Amputee Foundation was being wrapped up. I really wanted to say, maybe I should have, kind of invited people because of my newfound Catholic faith. Hey guys, if you feel like you want something to anchor you, right, to help you as you go through this journey, because you're going to have challenges. This is your new life now. You can't go back. You can either, phone it in and just wither away, or you can do something about it, and God can help you with that. That's what you anchor to. That's what you go to when you need that uplifting and that help, right? And so, you by being stronger in your faith, in your Catholic faith, you can serve as that person for other people, and that's what being Catholic is all about, is serving other people. So next meeting, I'm going to mention that, for those of you who might want to come to our church, or Jason, you can talk about your church, different sides of town, hey, come and just
come try it out.
Try it out and see if it's something you're interested in, and we can help you with that, because I think that's, as Catholics, it's our responsibility. And when do people come to God? Mostly is when they're feeling down and low and they've gone through struggles. Right. And that's when Jesus wants you to come to him, is when you're broken. Because, the meek shall inherit the earth. He said that in the Bible. He's looking for that. He doesn't want people who are perfect. He doesn't want people who look good on the outside. He wants those people. Because their heart's ready. Right. And so I just think
on the extra tree.
That's something that, I would like to maybe bring up, but not browbeat, of course. And everybody has different faiths. But if you're looking, we can help you. So.
Definitely. That's a great idea to do. Kind of throw it out there. It's that personal invitation that I think that people just need. They maybe they know it's out there, right?
Yeah, because the Catholic faith can be scary. I was so scared to do it at first, because I was like, well, you sit down, you kneel, it's like, wait.
So much to remember.
Especially even now, right? Especially even now, right?
Even now, our amputation is like, I'm going to try to finagle this leg. And
kneel.
The
kneel thing is a different situation now.
Yes. And I figured it out, as you have, I'm sure, and it's not a big deal. But sometimes your knee doesn't want to cooperate fully. But
fortunately, we don't have to genuflect in our church.
Yeah, I don't know if your church does that, but we just bow.
There you go.
Yeah,
right.
That's
the host isn't exposed in our
exactly. Yeah, it's in the chapel, right?
Yeah, okay. Tabernacle.
I'm still learning the terminology for being Catholic.
Go. Well, you're doing good so far, because earlier when you were talking about your experience at the dentist, you said pray to Mary, and then you followed up by saying, as my intercessor. Like, kudos to your RCIA team, because that is bravo. that made me really proud.
Thank you.
Honestly, that really made me proud, because it's I'm sure, as you're well aware, that's kind of a thing where people are like, you pray to Mary. And it's just something within the English language where we say pray to, and we just don't follow up by saying as my intercessor.
Right.
You know, sort of like the Saint Michael the Archangel prayer. People take that as we're praying to the saint, and we're asking for his intercession.
Intercession, right.
So kudos to your RCIA team for explaining that to you, if that's where you learned it from.
I did.
And it's now that you're saying it because you understand it. And it's like...
And it works.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes.
And it works. And there's actually a book, you mentioned Mary, there's a book, How to Pray Like Mary. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay, it's coming out. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's called I think it's called How to Pray Like Mary, or Pray Like Mary.
Who wrote it?
I don't, but I'm sure if you Googled it, you'd find out. Yeah. But it's supposed to be coming out pretty soon. I saw a post on Facebook. And so, again, once I get through the various books that my Catholic brothers and sisters have given me since becoming Catholic, then I'll buy that one. But
yes. So, maybe books on tape would be better.
I'm not a big reader, but
yeah, I've considered getting an Audible subscription, because as you can tell, I'm more of an audio person. So maybe a book on audio is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's a good suggestion, Josh.
Yeah.
Yes, do that.
Well, I know that, we tended to do some of those things ourselves. And I think, some of the movies, that we watch and those sort of things, I think have helped. But, books are sometimes hard. It's just hard to find time, especially with children, especially with job responsibilities.
Television.
We allow distractions, I think. Obviously, I don't think I would say children are a distraction, or having to work is a distraction.
But just, helping them with things and stuff like that. But and then wanting to get involved, like Jason, you mentioned, things through the foundation. I was just going to maybe ask you, since you and I are kind of at the same pace with this.
It's just us talking here.
Like, what kind of things do you want to do through the foundation? Is there something that you're interested in?
Well, one thing that I'm really excited for is the conference coming up. Coming up in July, and I was fortunate enough to be given a scholarship for that. So,
I was too.
You worked there. There you go. So, hopefully my wife would join me for that. I know she filled out the application for the Caregiver Scholarship. So there you go.
Yep.
So, hopefully we can all kind of tag along for that too. But that's awesome. One thing that I'm excited for. Just kind of trying to get out being a little bit more active. That's never really been a big part of my life. Yeah. So I think now it really has to be. Today they had people stretching us out, and that was a big help for me. When I went through my physical therapy, that helped out a lot, and I finished my therapy already. I went through and completed my number of times to go and everything. And I stretch at home, but having someone actually usually stretch
doing it for you,
they can kind of get in deeper, and it makes a big difference. Right. So there's a ton that the Amputee Foundation offers that we can all benefit from, and no matter what our interests are. But that's I'm excited to learn more about that. Even who knows? Maybe go out on the tennis court too. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that.
We'll see. I don't want to overcommit. And just like with becoming a new Catholic, you immediately want to do everything, right? You want to do all these different kind of ministries, and everything looks so great. But I'm the kind of person in the past, I know I've disappointed myself, and more importantly, other people, by saying I'll do something and I don't. And I've disappointed my husband, my family, my sons. And so I don't want to do that anymore, right? And so I want to pick maybe one thing and focus on it for a little while and see how I grow as a Catholic. And then I think that's important for new Catholics. Don't do a whole lot maybe right off the bat.
Yeah, I think it's important to focus the efforts and do it well.
Exactly.
And build on that. And you can't get overextended very easily. And
if you try something new and it's not a good fit, it's okay to say, I prayed about this, I thought about it, and this really isn't the way I think I should be going. This isn't the ministry really for me. And I think that's okay, right? To say that.
Right.
Be honest,
it is. Compared to just
trying to
going along.
Through it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, Josh and I have probably been there where, you're in the nights, you're in That Man Is You,
He's in the nights too.
You're on the Acts team. You're an RCIA sponsor. You're probably at church 4 out of the 7 days out of the week, if not more. And sometimes you can get all in, and you end up burning yourself out, and you're there, but it's not in maybe more of a spiritual aspect. You're there fulfilling your obligation, and you kind of lose sight of
the purpose,
really why you're there.
Well, and also too, just real quick, I mean, God says that family comes first, right? So you shouldn't overextend yourself with ministries or anything else, hobbies, whatever, because your family, you need to make sure your family is right and that they are growing spiritually, and that you don't lose sight of that. So the church also should not be an escape either to not fulfill your responsibilities within your family. So I think that's important for especially new Catholics, to remember. I don't know if you were going to say something like that.
No, I was just going to say that exact same thing.
Okay.
The ministry, the very first ministry, most important is your family.
Right.
Don't use church to, as an excuse not to spend time with them.
Sure.
Even though sometimes you may not.
Yeah, you may want a little bit. That's okay. Go to church. Sometimes I told Josh, he's like, I'm thinking about doing this or going to this meeting. I'm like, go.
She made me go to that man as you, but it was one of the best things I think she did.
Yeah.
In pushing me out the door.
Yes.
Well, it's think about what else the world has to offer and where else men go. We're spending time in church with like-minded men, learning from them, and it's definitely time well spent.
Yeah.
So
I mean, just seeing the Easter Vigil with all the RCIA candidates who haven't been baptized or have been baptized, and the catechumens who were going to be baptized, it was about a 50-50 split. And so those men especially, being vulnerable and being baptized in front of hundreds of people at our church, you could just see how they were just glowing, and I was just bawling my eyes out because I'd gotten to know these people.
Right.
And that they were, and just knowing that they were going to be even that much more enriched through the Catholic faith with their baptism, and then the conversion when we took our communion for the first time, several of us were crying, and it was just like, wow, because you wait so long for that, and it just means so much to you. And then, like for me, trying to figure out what I want to do for a job now that I, we can walk around now, right? So okay, now what's next? And so I want to help support my family financially as well, but I want to do something that means something. And so, like through the foundation, the Amputee Foundation, Mona's the executive director and founder, she asked if I would pair up with somebody to speak with children on their Disabilities Day and discovering disabilities. And so that happened last month. I'd never done that before. And then a woman at our church who's on the RCIA team asked me if I would go and speak with kids in the university hospital who are on wait lists for transplants and who are sick and have to stay in the hospital, if I could talk to them about disabilities and, just about what people go through, and that, how important it is to have faith, even as a young child. So it's like I'm getting these opportunities to like speak and do these things that I never thought I would love doing, and I love it.
Right.
So maybe this is the road, and then my sister, who does not like to be vulnerable, and she's an executive in a hospital system here in town, and she's very successful. After my ACTS retreat, that she thought that I should speak about being an amputee and about my faith and things like that. And so all of a sudden, all these possibilities are coming into play, and I've been praying to God, use me in a way that you want to use me. I don't know what that is. I don't want to necessarily go back to a corporate environment. I don't know what I want to do.
Sure.
Money's not a huge issue for us right now, but I'd like to be compensated.
Sure.
So I'm still kind of trying to figure that out. So
it kind of sounds like my prayer before my surgery. Thinking about it, what I had prayed for was for Jesus to create in me a new wine.
Wow.
In regards to my life and what I spend my time on. You know what I mean? Like I don't work either, obviously, right? And I think I'm leading the room in number of tissues being used, but that's normally the case anyway. So, but yeah, I using my time as far as having a time well spent in regards to helping others and serving, kind of what you're speaking about, whether it's through this podcast or through another route that hasn't presented itself yet. That is really what I wanted my takeaway to be from this experience, whether it's the issue with my leg being amputated, whether it's me being on a wait list for a kidney, that's either way, I want this whole experience to be from a new wine to be created in me. That way I can serve others. So
yeah, that's a really good prayer. Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that of a good friend of mine who's been on the podcast before, Jorge Aguilar, who is, I firmly believe he has we all have a pipeline to God when we pray, and but so that man is biblical. Kind of when you praise, it's when you praise with me, it's a very biblical experience.
Wow.
And he said that one time, create in me a new wine, and that really resonated with me. And I've kind of adopted that, my own, to kind of want that as well.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Can you speak to us a little bit more about the RCIA process overall, and just kind of coming in from, in the past, your other, being a Methodist and non-denominational, and coming into the Catholic faith, and what the world says about the Catholic faith, and you kind of making a decision to, that's what the world says, but I'm going to look for myself, and I'm going to decide. Can you kind of speak to your overall RCI experience overall?
In terms of, I guess, what I had known about it was not a whole lot, because about the RCIA process, I knew about the time commitment, but that's really about it, because I didn't ask Josh a lot of questions about his Catholic faith, because I wasn't ready. I knew that he was a Catholic. Again, he probably would have much rather us as a family have gone to more Mass on a regular basis. But yeah, really for those 3.5 years that we were first married, but that would have been the good time to do it. But so I didn't really know a whole lot about it. But once I got there, I just felt at home. I'd already been going to the church somewhat, for 3.5, 4 years or whatever. But as soon as I got in that classroom, the deacon who taught it, the people who were in there were just like me. They had maybe tried other religions. Things didn't really work, and I was a little bit of afraid of the Catholic Church. But then when you think about it, like things that have come out about the priests and stuff, and people, when we were early on in the RCA process, some of the other people in the class were like, well, people that I tell that I'm becoming Catholic ask me about how can you become Catholic when all these priests are doing all these things. And I like to help people, right? So I would say to them, well, tell them that in any organization, it doesn't matter if it's a religion or a corporation or a school, it doesn't matter. There's going to be people that have, that do bad acts.
Right.
So it's not the religion that you blame, right? I mean, or university, you blame those people that committed those terrible acts. And so because of that, you explain it that way. That's just a very, very small percentage. And the media, I believe, will tend to exploit that, of course, because of the story and the ratings and all of that. So I think it's a good test almost for us who want to become Catholic and have that in our lives, to defend our religion. It's our responsibility to do that, not to shy away and say,
Amen.
You're kind of right, or, even have them change our minds. And the RCA process is not this crazy structured thing where you just feel like you've got to, know everything. It's not. And I thought it was like that.
Peeling layers of the onion back.
And it's like teaching you things and giving you information, inspiration, education, and confirmation that you're doing the right thing. All those shuns, all within a year process. And you just grow from it. And I never felt pressured, to finish it. It was just, you just do it because that's what you want. And that's what you need is becoming a Catholic. And it means so much more to me than when I went to a Methodist church or a non-denominational church or any church, because it was my decision to become Catholic, and there were things that I should know about God and how to pray and what the meaning of Mass is and the community that Catholics have at our church and just how supportive they are. It was important to take steps, right, to improve and not just kind of come as you are. So to me now, it's the best decision I've ever made.
Well, I think, it's also, a journey, and you realize that once you get done with the RCIA process, you've just made the next step. You made that commitment, and that there's so much more to learn. And to me, like having gone through it, years ago, I realized going through it as a sponsor, I picked up on things I didn't get the first time I went through it. And then as I've drawn closer, within my faith, also have an opportunity to learn more, and then, asking questions and then digging deeper on those things that really, resonate. So I can have, better understandings of the different aspects of the faith, and it's an ongoing and evolving process. I think you take through the rest of your life. So you never feel like, hey, I'm all the way there.
No.
It's a journey.
Definitely it is.
We're on that journey.
No. I mean, I've crawled in my holes. And Josh has said to me, you're in your hole, you're depressed or you're feeling sorry for yourself, right? I'll throw you a rope to help you get out of the hole, but I'm not going in the hole with you. And I tell people that all the time, the way he said it, because it's true. Only you can chart that journey for yourself, whether it's getting over medical issues or confronting, your faith and what you should be doing and how you should be living your life. That's why this podcast is so awesome. And I listened to your podcast when you sent me that link a few weeks ago, and it's just so great. It's just this what you're doing is so wonderful, and maybe this is your calling. Maybe, doing this and then, building on it could very well be your calling. So, don't disregard that. I think,
We feel honored to be part of it.
So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely very much a passion project that I have, and I do devote a good amount of time to it. Hopefully it shows, and hopefully it comes through and someone hits play, that they can definitely hear that as well. So, but it's great to kind of hear the way you say we need to defend our faith, because there are so many people that are afraid to do that, and they're really afraid to do that because they don't know how. There are a lot of resources out there that will help you learn, and you can just the internet is a very dangerous place, but it can be a very useful tool if you use it properly. There's a lot of great resources on there that can help you learn about our faith. I've spoken with people that are apologetics. A great resource to have is Brian Mercier, who is he's an apologetic Catholic speaker out of New England. And he has a ton of YouTube videos about defending the faith. And he shared great stories of how he approached it from the wrong way initially, and how he just observed someone do it the right way and was like, oh wow, I've been doing it wrong this whole time. I just had to go up and hug somebody, because that's all they needed. I was beating them over the head with the Bible and going with this verse and they just needed someone to hug them. And there are many different ways you can approach it, and for everyone it's something different. But there's a lot of great resources out there to have, and that's what I've learned from these 72 episodes, is there's different approaches, and one of the main aspects is community. Community is very important, staying plugged into the community, and whether it's a medical issue come up, or you're just struggling spiritually, your community is there to help you. And I'm sure the Holy Trinity Parish, the good people there helped you quite a bit through your amputation while you were recovering. I know the fine people, Holy Spirit, and the RCIA people there definitely helped out my family. So it's definitely one and the same.
It's a blessing when you have those communities. having gone to that marriage retreat right before the amputation, we had a lot of families lifting us up, and
a lot of couples.
Couples that had signed up to bring us meals for the next several weeks.
Yeah, we didn't cook for a month after
It was
my amputation.
My family had spaghetti a lot, but it was good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, the people actually are really kind and
absolutely
supportive and nice, and they're not in my bloodline,
And it makes you wonder, I have family in town. How come they're not stepping up?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what about... Well, no, my parents did. They did give us food.
Right.
Yeah, they did.
Right.
Okay. That's right. Then it was good. So, but yeah.
Definitely. Which marriage retreat was that? Why don't you talk a little about that?
We went on the Christ-Centered Marriage Ministry retreat, and it was in Hunt, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful facility out there. What was also I thought nice about it was that there was no reception. So, you had no cell phones.
You were cut off.
Exactly.
You were completely cut off. And it was nice because you're able to connect with other couples.
And your own spouse, of course.
Well, yes, and you're along with your spouse and go through the different things that we're focused on during that part of it, and just really were able to draw closer with some people. Some people I had met before and known, but didn't really know their spouse. Having Tiffani there as well, she had gotten to know some people, but we got to know people at a deeper level. I think when you're there together and you're vulnerable and you're sharing things,
right?
It's really good. And you hadn't had your surgery yet, but you were on a scooter most
knee
of the
scooter.
time. A knee scooter.
Did you ever do the knee scooters?
Done that too.
But everybody
got pretty good at it.
Yeah, I did too, right? Like maneuvering through work. Yeah, that was really fun.
Everyone was very supportive throughout that process. And
well, yeah, because my surgery was on Monday, October 22nd, and the Christ Center Marriage Ministry retreat was the weekend directly before. So everybody knew that I was having my leg amputated that following Monday. I mean, we left the retreat on the Sunday, and then Monday I had my amputation. So it was God's plan for all that to happen. And
definitely,
we've kind of put out feelers there that we want to be part of the team.
Support it however we
can. We don't care, whatever we can do to help out, because we want to go back and help other couples with things that they're going through too. Because maybe if somebody sees us, right, and that's what this is all about, right? Somebody hears you in your podcast, Jason, and says, you know what, I need to take the focus off myself, right? I mean, there's people out there who have struggles. Everybody has a struggle, and it's not all about me. It's about how I can help. So, and that's just, it's wonderful when you embrace that.
Definitely. Yeah. It certainly is. It's,
sorry.
The aspect of marriage is it's a very important aspect of our faith, holy matrimony, one of the sacraments there. And it, and when you think about your vows in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health, really, when you're saying those vows, you don't really think that's going to happen.
Yeah, you hope that that's not going to be the case.
Sure.
And he married me when I was sick. He knew that I had a stomach surgery. I had a stomach tumor a month after he proposed to me, and I was in the hospital for almost a month. And I had to have it was benign, but I had to have the stomach tumor removed. And then they saw what was going on with my leg. I'd been trying to hide it for 5-6 years, and so he knew all of these medical things coming into it. And he still married me, and I even told him, you don't have to. It's okay. Now that you know the full scale of everything,
The curtains have been pulled back now,
Right.
The wizard, right?
Exactly, yeah. And he still said, of course I'm going to marry you. I love you.
Right. I mean, I saw that your family, although they're not Catholic,
they're wonderful. Yeah.
You have a wonderful family, and their faith is phenomenal, and the way they stood behind you and had been staying behind you, and the way that they brought, not only me, but the children from my previous marriage into the family. There was no doubts in my mind. I knew that you had issues that we were going to have to deal with together, but I never had a second doubt about that.
Yeah, that's definitely it's awesome. It's great.
Well, our faith has helped us a lot. So.
Yeah.
through
Amen.
the process.
Yes.
Amen to that. Yeah,
God is good.
Yeah, it's weird how I'm sure you've gotten this where I have people who are like, well, it's weird when someone calls you an inspiration. You don't really think
it
you
makes
are.
you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it makes you like not like. It's kind of like when someone sings happy birthday to you. Mm-hmm. You don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
What do I do? Just for that 15, 20 seconds of time, what do I do? But yeah, but having your spouse there with you, it makes it a whole lot easier. Mm-hmm. It makes it a whole lot easier because you do go in your hole. Mm-hmm. But as Tim said, I'm not going to go in there with you. I'm going to throw you a rope there. That's, my wife's good at that. She may has never used those words. She may has not as put it as eloquently as you have, but it gets the same.
Yeah,
the same across. Action happens, and I get pulled out of mine, and regardless of what people may think, mm-hmm. I do go into my hole, mm-hmm. To just the way everyone else does. Mm-hmm. But our faith is that's what really sustains me, mm-hmm. and that's what keeps it positive for me. Because I know that I've seen people heal mm-hmm. from issues they have with their feet, mm-hmm. and I've read people receive kidney transplants, mm-hmm. and I keep wondering, well, when is it my turn?
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to pray for you, Jason.
But
definitely pray for you.
I know that for those people, literally, it was a miracle, right? Mm-hmm. I know that for those people, they needed that miracle to spark their faith. Mm-hmm. I've kind of come to realize that what I'm going through is a healing process. So it's a longer game compared to I wake up overnight and I'm healed. It's a miracle.
Yeah.
I know that it's a process, and I know that my faith is strong enough to sustain that healing process mm-hmm. compared to the overnight miracle.
Mm-hmm. I love the way you said that, because that's how I feel too. It's like if somebody else is going to benefit strongly and they don't have maybe that strength in their faith, then that's what they need. Right. Or like we were talking this morning at the meeting, the amputee meeting, about people parking in our handicapped parking spots. I don't even have a handicap placard because I kind of let it expire. I'm like, I don't really need it. But you know what? I don't get upset, really. I don't, because if somebody parks in there, it's like, for whatever reason that day they needed to do that. I'm not going to judge, And by having that faith, that strong faith, like you were saying, it's a long game. Mm-hmm. We're going to be in heaven.
That's the ultimate one.
Yeah, so that's how I approach it. So mm-hmm. if like you or we get sick, we pass away sooner than we'd like to, or our families would like for us to, it's, mm-hmm. It's okay, Yeah,
one of the greatest aspects of our faith is that the sacrifice of the Mass is the closest we can get to heaven on earth.
Yeah. So
I know that when I go to Mass, I'm there with my grandfather, my grandmother, my brother who passed away.
Oh, yeah.
You get to be there with them in Mass.
Yeah. Yeah, so
along with all the angels and saints.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and one of the things I really love about the Catholic faith too is that I feel like I'm always learning something.
Right.
Like I don't know all the saints by any means. Sure. I have no idea who 99% of them are. I don't know a whole lot about that. And we'll be studying still through June through RCIA at Mystagogia. Am I saying that right?
Mystagogia. Right. Mystagogia, very good.
Kind of more meaning behind the Mass, what takes place there, and just how the ministries you can be involved in. That's kind of where we are now with the RCIA process.
Yep.
Now that we've become confirmed.
Possibly a service project, maybe somewhere mixed in there.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And so we love Habitat for Humanity. We've done that before. So that's like a lot of churches will help with that. If not, come to Holy Trinity. We always need a need for that.
There you go.
But I look forward to learning more, about the meaning behind what I'm praying and who I'm praying to, and the people in my church and what they need, and where I can serve best. Using my talents, whatever those are, So I'm excited. Like you had mentioned a little bit ago about keeping that fire lit. Mm-hmm. That's because I want to learn about it, and I never felt like like there was a whole lot more to learn about maybe a less structured faith that didn't have maybe the meaning behind it like I feel the Catholic faith does.
It's the original faith. And, to me, I think what you've seen is, you really get a sense as to how it all unfolds, how, the whole salvation story, is the basis for everything. Jesus died, for our sins. Mm-hmm. And it's, I think that, as you said, the Catholic faith does a really good job of connecting the dots on that. Well,
like the Passion of the Christ, I never really realized what that meant. It's the suffering.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Passion equals suffering. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just saying about like the movie, and I'm, that's beside the point. But during, Holy Week, right before Easter, and on Easter, they talk about that, the Passion of the Christ. I never knew what that meant.
Yeah. Right.
I never asked. And it was like, it's his suffering that he did on the cross to die for our sins.
Right. Which he willingly did. So it's like, who else in history would do that? Nobody. Right. And just, again, the way that, and I'm not judging other religions at all, at all. But what I'm saying is, for me, the Catholic faith is what spoke to me and what I think I'll be able to sustain, so...
Excellent. We're going to go and get to our parting questions.
Okay.
So, Josh.
Or Tim.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
I think that, for me, probably, I've long been a runner. So I think to be able to run, faster than I've ever run. Mm-hmm. I've long, tried to see myself, competing in the Boston Marathon, so being able to, to click off, mile after mile at 5.5 minute clip to me would be just the ultimate high.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
How about you, Tiffani?
Yeah, and this is not like a superpower in the traditional superpower sense, like invisible or super strength or anything like that. But I think I would like to see like what's in people's hearts. That sounds kind of strange, but what's in people's hearts and what it is that they need and how I can help them. That's what I would like to see, because, it's hard to be vulnerable. People don't like to be vulnerable.
Not at all.
Especially in this world, you're taught to be strong and successful and have money and the looks and all those things are so important.
I got it all figured out and under control.
Especially men. And so that's what I would want. Yeah.
Good one. Who are your favorite saints?
I think for me, as I was thinking about it, Saint Faustina speaks to me quite a bit. The whole Divine Mercy, chaplet, just beautiful. I'd gotten St. Faustina's diary some months ago and been trying to read a little bit of it each day. And we've got a gentleman at our That Man Is You. Yeah, it's a thick diary.
It's big.
It's a lot of interactions with Jesus.
Yeah.
But there's a man at our That Man Is You group who will usually come up and read something from her diary. And it just seems to be very timely when he brings something, from that diary. It speaks really well to maybe something I'm going through or something that's happening. And I would pick her as probably the one that speaks best to me.
Pretty good.
Mine is Mary. My saint name that we chose for Easter when we were confirmed was Saint Anthony of Padua, because he's the saint of amputees.
There you go.
Yeah. And so I picked him, and he's also the saint of lost things. So, if you're an amputee, you lost your life too, right? So, but I think more Mary, because every time I pray to Mary as my intercessor, things happen. I'm not saying like I've got this awesome pipeline through Mary, but I maybe it's just I get more peace or more focus or more, so whatever it is, so I would say her. I'm going to.
Well, the rosary is a really special.
Yes, and the rosary too. That's one of the things that I would like to pray more. So I pray to put time aside to do that too. So yeah.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. So, Sister Faustina, St. Anthony de Padua, and Mother Mary, pray for us.
Yes.
Pray for us.
Pray for us.
So, if you could describe how you live your faith with a hashtag, what would the hashtag be?
Remember, we're like, I'm going to be 50 this year, and you're 48 soon. Yeah,
so the pound sign on the phone.
Yes, I know what a hashtag is.
Okay.
I've just never really given it a thought.
I know. Yeah, that's a hard
You're basically summing up something in 1 or 2 or 3 words, or
yes.
It can be as many words as you want. There's really no rule.
I got it.
Cool.
Okay.
You got it.
Wow.
Just bam.
Bam, it just came. Hashtag pay it forward.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
And I think for me, because, I think it's important that we, look out for others, and you don't want to wait to be asked for things. In the spirit of service, in the spirit of doing the right things, instead of trying to justify doing what you're doing, is pay it forward. And I think that's a guidepost for my faith, in all aspects.
Very good.
Thank you.
I have like 3 or 4 that I'm thinking of, but I'll just say the first one that I think is probably let go, let God. I think, because there's so many things that we don't have control over, and we're always trying to control what happens in our situations in our lives, and some things we do, but really it's just looking to God to fill us up and to let Him handle the difficult situations.
Excellent.
Especially.
And lastly, what message do you want to leave our listeners with?
Well, I think maybe kind of going off of what Tiffani had said, for those that are struggling, in their lives, the Catholic faith does provide a very, rich experience, a lot of support. It's not necessarily going to give you all the answers, but it's going to give you more that you might be able to use to help you on your journey. And I would just encourage anybody who's out there who's, maybe in the faith but not as committed as they feel that they should be, go to Mass, get involved in some way, reach out to someone they know that's involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Mm-hmm. Stephen's Ministries, one of those for those that are really struggling, that there are resources available, within most of the parishes, and if particular parish that you belong to doesn't have some of those ministries, and you can find other parishes that probably do have some of those resources available.
Mm-hmm. I would say just try it out, just have that foundation of God in your life, because it makes all the difference in the world with how you see God, yourself, the world, other people, how you can help other people. It makes you just a kinder, softer, warmer person, and also to don't be afraid of the Catholic faith, because you don't necessarily, like with any religion or any faith, you don't have to agree with 100% of everything, right? You don't have to necessarily. I mean, it's okay if you have questions about things. It's okay to ask. It's okay to, am I saying that right? Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that maybe have reservations because they don't understand.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that I don't know that have come into the faith simply because their questions were answered. Mm-hmm. They're like, this is the first time where I've been able to, maybe they go on an act retreat, and there was a priest there.
Right.
And they're like, this is the first time where I've been able to sit down and ask questions and been given answers.
Right. And the priests aren't scary.
No.
They're wonderful.
They're guys. They
go through 7 years of training to become a priest, or a deacon is 5 years of training.
Right.
They know their stuff.
They do.
Right.
So
Well, that's intimidating because we had two guys at our Acts retreat who hadn't been to communion for 25 years for the one guy and 30 years for the other. So hadn't taken communion during that whole time. So it was magical to see them
to see that
up and go to confession and be able to take communion.
Yeah, I would say just be vulnerable. It's okay.
It really is.
You can be raw and vulnerable and still,
and not honestly, that's countercultural.
Exactly.
And being Catholic really is being a rebel. You're being countercultural because you're doing things that the secular world are saying you don't want to do that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Maybe there's a reason why they're telling you don't want to do that. But it really is you're being vulnerable, being open, and just not being afraid. Fear is the devil's biggest
and
tool.
Guilt. That's not from God.
Definitely.
Yep.
Well, excellent. Well, this has been a great conversation with you two. I want to thank you two for taking time out of your Saturday. Josh has had a long day already. He's already been to a That Man Is You meeting, the San Antonio Amputee Foundation meeting, and I don't know what else you guys got going on today, but I think you need a nap.
I'll cook dinner. He can take a nap.
I don't do naps.
He doesn't do naps. Well, thank you, Jason Nunez, for this.
Yes, well, thank you too. Once again for taking time out of your day. I want to thank Old Elite Renewal Center for allowing us to record this particular episode on holy ground. It means so much to me to have that happen. Big thank you to our executive producer, Dr. Jeff Vista. Thank you so much for your support of the John 3:30 podcast. Thank you to everyone for listening, for continuing to listen even after the break, for me recovering from my surgery and everything. We missed last week with a brand new episode, but we're coming back this week with the great one with Josh and with Tiffani. And we're gonna keep going and try and continue to put out brand new episodes every Friday, the way we have been in the past there. So thank you once again for listening. Thank you all so much for your continued listenership and for just clicking play. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. We're going to end this episode the way the Nunez family ends their time in Mass every time we attend. That is by saying the intercessory prayer to Saint Michael the Archangel. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl around the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen.
Amen.
And the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Josh, Tiffani, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all for listening. Have a good rest of your day, and God bless you all.
From the day I leapt in the womb to the joy of the empty tomb, I know He lived and died for me. From heaven high above, a voice came down with a dove. This is my Son, and I am pleased. He must increase, so I must decrease. And now my heart is open wide. I must decrease so He can increase. He is the center of my life. He must increase. He must increase. He must increase.